English-speaking workforce that performs all the skills necessary to do work. So that's that perfect storm.
Yes, plus it helps that we're friends of America also.
I think that was maybe the legacy that helped. It's certainly, I think, for Western cultures, but really I think world cultures, to come to the Philippines and see shows that are as much in English as they are in Tagalog.
Right.
Or to hear a news show like yours that is as much in English as in Tagalog. And if the world speaks a second language, it tends to be English. So people feel very comfortable. They can come and watch basketball, the #1 sport. They can see shows like Philippine Idol, or but they can also see American Idol. So I think people feel very comfortable in the Philippines. It's a very comfortable society to be in.
Okay, now let's go to the Kuwaiti group that came here. They are your partners, right?
Correct.
The one who designed your project here, the 167-hectare area, is Fox, right? A global name.
That's
and
correct.
Design.
That's correct.
And you will be the developer of this one, Peregrine, right?
Yes.
And the financing group, the KGL, right?
Correct.
To create all these things which we expect to be happening very, very soon. Can you talk about the Kuwait group, please?
Absolutely. First, as I said, Peregrine is a small American company, and we need to find third-party investors. So we need to look out for third-party investors. And we have investors from throughout the Middle East, not just Kuwait, but our offices in Kuwait, we have very good relationships with the Kuwait business and community. But we have investors from America and from Europe and elsewhere that we work with, and we are working in other countries. But our ability has been able to reach out and attract investors for good projects like this.
Yes.
This project resonated with a company called KGL.
Yes, KGL.
Kuwait Gulf Links. KGL Investment Company is one of the most prominent and successful Kuwaiti businesses. It is run by Saeed Dashti, who is the chairman of KGL, and he was here in April himself. The chairman of KGL Investment Company, Dr. Mahdi Al-Jazaf, he also was here for the groundbreaking ceremony, and I believe you met with him, as well as a member of the royal family, Sheikh Ahmed. So KGL is a very progressive company, logistics company. That is their forte. They are one of the largest logistics companies in the Middle East. They believed in this project. They've seen the logistics hub, the proximity. And so we could not have found a better investor than KGL, because they're, one, a logistics company, two, they have the capital to deliver a $1 billion project. This project's $1 billion by the time it's built out. So those are the factors of why we focus on KGL and attracting KGL to this project.
Is there a special reason why you also chose the place, other than that Sheikh Ahmed likes it when he saw it? Absolutely.
Clark is the future in our mind, our opinion. Clark is the future of the Philippines. It is the international gateway. Now, we draw the parallels of Clark to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Manila and Clark, I'd like to spend a few minutes, if you don't mind, on this, because I think this is a really key point for your audience to understand. And I also think this will help allay fears between the Manila International Airport and Clark International Airport and open skies. Open sky is something that would be very healthy for the Philippines. But if people would stand back and look at the parallels between Washington, D.C. and Manila in terms of the evolution of transportation. About 40 years ago, Washington, D.C. had Washington National Airport right across the Potomac. But it was limited with a single runway, bounded by a lot of buildings right across from the nation's capital.
Like NAIA right now.
Exactly like NAIA. And what people proposed 40 years ago, well, let's build an airport 50 kilometers west of Washington, D.C. in a place called Dulles. At the time, it was just open fields. There's nothing, it's farmland. And let's build a toll road to Dulles from downtown. And people say, 50 kilometers from downtown Washington, D.C., we have a beautiful airport. Why would we want to do that? because people with a vision realized that you were going to need that. So 40 years ago, 35 years ago, that airport started to come into fruition. But people who protected National were afraid of competition.
Yes.
They were afraid that National would go out of business, that National would shut down and would have to drive so far.
Yes.
But today, you have a vibrant national airport servicing the needs of the capital. So we see Manila International servicing the needs of the nation's capital, the politicians, the diplomats, the people and business community that want to do business in the national capital of the Philippines.
Okay.
With Clark becoming the Dulles, the International Travelers Gateway. And what you find is two airports thriving vibrantly, and we believe that's going to happen here. So that's why we focused at Clark, and we put so much emphasis, and why KGL is putting so much of their investment dollars in this project.
So you're telling us that we do not have to compete with Manila, but in fact we can complement.
Absolutely. And this is a key point. The world's leading expert on aviation communities is a gentleman by the name of Dr. John Casarda.
Okay, yes.
Dr. Casarda works out of the University of North Carolina, and he is the world's most renowned expert on what's called aerotropolises. In fact, it was Dr. Casarda who coined the word aerotropolis. And what he has demonstrated is that people should not be afraid of that. Washington, D.C. with Reagan had to have Dulles International, and when Dulles came up, you had communities that were never heard of before 30 years ago. Reston, Vienna, Ashburn. All of these communities come up with some of the highest real estate values, but Washington, D.C. downtown did not lose anything. Bangkok with the satellite airport.
Yes.
Kuala Lumpur, satellite airport. London with Gatwick and Heathrow. Chicago, O'Hare and Midway. It is only natural that the Philippines want Manila and Clark. And fortunately for the Philippines, they don't have to build it.
Yes.
It's already here.
As Mr. Chichos Luciano said, if we don't have the jewel that we have right now that was invested in by the Americans when they were here, it would have cost us billions of dollars, plus the number of years that we have to develop it.
It really would have.